All right, guys, welcome back. This is the Fed Show, where we kind of talk about mental health stuff, but then I just talk to artists because I listen to music and it helps me get through times. And my playlist is extensive with walking 6 miles on a random Friday night, so you get a lot of music in that way. And then just people I've met with, like we met. Well, today we got K Double in the kitchen studio, but we met at Texas Takeover at Tulips, right?
Yep.
The Patrick Jr. show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've kind of been following you then, and then you performed.
Same.
You performed at the Zero show at Haltom Theater.
Yeah.
I missed that one because I had my kids.
Yeah.
But I saw that reel you put together.
Yeah.
But so let's get into it, man. The biggest thing. I mean, superhero music. That's the new single.
Yeah.
And,
that's the one I performed at Tulips when you first saw me. Super punchy, super hip hop. My music is every artist says, "Oh, my shit is different. My music is different." But I stick to the real heavy lyrics. It's not a lot of melodic stuff in mine. Real punchy tracks or real heavy Texas bass line stuff like that. I do real hip hop is what I stick to.
All right.
Yeah.
So when did that project come about? How did it get to happening?
Well, it kind of happened this way during quarantine. Like back in the day, I was signed as a kid. I was 18 years old in a group with 24, 25-year-old men. We were called the Lab Boys, like around 2004 or 5. I mean, I was a youngster, but I really got to get my feet wet. And I also learned about contracts and publishing and all those kind of things. So bottom line, I kind of got screwed on some things, but I won't say screwed because I learned so much from it.
Yeah.
But I walked away from the music business, kind of got into a little trouble like most of us do when we in the streets chasing after things. And then when the world shut down, it was just kind of one of those things. And now there's so many streaming services where you can upload music and, so I was like, let me just put this out, see what happens. I had my girl make some the artwork for me. I put it out, and and start sending it to celebrities on the humbug. I mean, maybe had 1,000 followers at the time, nothing big. And Cool and Dre from Terror Squad actually hit me back, and he was like, "You working, man? Not bad." And I was like, "Appreciate that." And he's like, "Well, I want to put you on a mixtape. I got a slot. Let's pick a song." And put it on there, man, and the rest is history. I just kind of never stopped.
Yeah.
And that just kind of, after putting that project out, I released the Dapper Dan Volume 1, I released the Dapper Dan Volume 2, bled into some showcases, and then now you got superhero music, and that's the one I'm pushing the most.
All right, man. Let's talk about the showcases.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does that work?
Well, it was kind of unique because the second project after 80s Baby was mostly me on the 80s Baby. On the second one, I knew that I wanted to collab a little bit more with some artists and different things like that, and be, just bring in some different energy on the beats. It's produced by Kennedy Krill's Commonwealth Productions. He's out of Philly, actually. It's a lot of samples. It's a lot of nostalgic 80s, 90s type beats, heavy bass, punchy stuff, lots of samples. And I started featuring some of these artists on there. So I knew I wanted to do something to draw attention to the project. So instead of just making the showcase all about me, I featured the artists that were on the song. So what I would do is I would perform the song that we had together. And then I would jump off the stage, and the artists who I did that song with, they would do 3 songs. Okay. And then I would interrupt that with a comedian. Chris Gardner, Sequina Thomas on the first showcase. Man, it just worked really well. We had it catered. We had the bar, and it just started to grow and build into something else. So I dropped Volume 2, but I didn't do the same thing as far as making that the focus point of the showcase. I wanted to do another one off the single Superhero Music to kind of help push that. So just some artists in the city, Play Simone, my boy Common Sense, Junior. Junior was a part of that showcase. And I had them come, interrupted it with some comedians in between, had the whole thing cater, and then...
Where was the showcase at?
So the first one was at Wix Live in Arlington.
Okay.
That was on Collins. And then the second one was at Platinum Music Studios in Northwest and Hills. Yeah. We rented out their whole big facility in there, and I mean, it was packed. It was dope. Yeah.
So and then you're working on a third one?
Yeah, we're working on a third one. Me and Common Sense are getting ready to do a project. And I know when I say Common Sense, people think I'm talking about Ball Common. Like, nah, it's a cat from out of he's from Killeen, Texas. He's based here in DFW.
Okay.
He's pretty much my brother in music. We don't match at all. We like completely opposite ends of the spectrum, but it clicks, and we just we get each other, and we I don't know, man, like the synergy is there. We did one song that we performed at the showcase, and then now we like, man, let's just go ahead and do a whole nother project and do a showcase of our own. So we're gonna do it that way.
No, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of artists that do a lot of different things, and then like when you're talking about a showcase, because you're exposing, like you said, you had comedians at the first one, and then
comedians at the second one too.
You're grabbing different genres of talents and blending them together, because someone may go to a showcase and be like, "Hey man, I'm just here for the music,"
right?
And then, oh man, that comedian, like, no, I really like that dude. Like he was good. Like, and you're giving people a show, kind of like when you go to like an art show. Yeah, like there's all different kinds of art, but when you have performing arts and you have multiple performing arts under one roof, there's not a whole lot of people doing anything like that.
Well, like I said, like it's a lot of stuff, like not talking shit, but like it's a lot of people copycatting right now, trying to do that. But I mean, like we had an R&B artist, we had an Afrobeat artist. I have a live band that's incorporated with it. I have, the comedians. We make it a real show. So when people, are there, you're not performing in front of a whole bunch of artists. It's actually people that are there that's rocking with your music or rocking with the comedians and are there to be entertained. And it's just a lane that's working for us, man. It's working for me. So I'm just sticking to the formula and making it happen.
Oh yeah, if it's working, then don't try to fix it.
Just
keep rolling with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about that upcoming project, Villains and Superhero project. That's
the villain and the superhero. Yeah. So one of Common's alter ego is the villain. Okay. Purple Player. His laugh, his demeanor seems very, like kind of like the Riddler or Bane or something like that. Okay. And me, of course, like with my single superhero music, it just goes together. Like it's like a yin and a yang thing, man. And I mean, it just flows together. I haven't heard anybody on the track go back and forth like that. Real talk, since like Jay-Z and Biggie's Brooklyn Finest or some shit like that. Real talk. It's like it's literally. Paul Wall and Chameleonaire, ESG and Slim Thug. It goes together, man. Yeah. And that's what we doing. We putting this project out to the world, and we both rock and making moves. So it's just a matter of putting it all together and making it even bigger than what it is.
All right, so let's talk about I Wrote This. How did that project come together? So,
like I said, when I walked away from the music business when I was a kid, but I was still very instrumental in the studio. Shouts out to Jones Inc. Studios in Dallas. Being around different artists, I've been privileged to be around. Have some famous friends. Brian Angel from Day 26 from MTV's Making the Band. I had an opportunity to write and perform and record with him, along with a lot of other artists. I did a lot of ghostwriting for years. And we did this to kind of pitch these songs to the labels for, like, I wrote this song in mind of Danity Kane, but I had Erica Rhodes sing it. Or I had a song that was in mind for Christina Aguilera, and I had Shannon sing it. Well, we did all these hit records, and they never got picked up. So instead of just like letting them sit there in the vault, I put them all out on a track. I mean, I put them all on a project because I wrote it. I wrote this. Yeah. So I put them out, and man, it started streaming. I'm actually getting ready to take that down because some of those records, some people have said some things about, and I don't want it to get out to the masses too much. So that way, if they want it to just be a work for hire, everything must go. Everything's for sale. Yeah. Everything's for sale.
I mean, but it's true. I mean, because on what was it? Heartbreak Motel was the one that stood out on that to me. I was like, oh yeah, I feel this is the vibe I'm going for right now. It just hit me. Yeah. So 80s baby music. What does that mean to you?
Well, I was born in the 80s, man. I'm getting ready. I'm creeping up on the 40 mark, man. But I'm still cool. I'm still fly. Still take your chick. Like all those kind of things, man. Like I mean, it's one of those things where, it's a sound and it's a vibe from people that no shot at none of the new music, none of the new artists, nothing like that. It's a lot of dope artists, but people that were born in that time, that 82 to 95 span, we just went through some way realer shit right now. You know, there wasn't so many camera phones.
Yeah.
There wasn't like, you know, you could possibly get your ass beat at the rec outside
Yeah.
and go home and nobody knew about
Yeah.
it. Now, you know, you throw a punch, it's viral. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's true.
It's just a vibe that I was just trying to capture that sound, you know. And the thing is, there's youngsters that gravitate towards that, 16, 17 years old, that gravitate towards that energy and that music. So I named it that. I mean, I may do an 80s baby music too. It was just really, I released it on my birthday. It was just, I was feeling myself. It was during quarantine. The world was shut down. I mean, we were sneaking around doing stuff because the world was shut down.
When the world was shut down, I streamed every UFC card.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of people over. We were having these big ass parties.
Yeah.
The world shut down. Oh, everybody's, you're having COVID parties. Not one person left those parties with COVID.
Man, I don't want to even get into that. There's a whole different, like, and you know, especially with your show talking about mental health, it was like, it's two things that happened to people during that time. You either came out a better person, or you came out way worse.
Yeah, well, because it forced you to look at a lot of things,
man.
But at the same time, it forced you to look at things, and like you said, you either came out where you conquered some demons, or you were in there and you found
got some
new ones that you didn't know you had.
Bro, it's crazy, and you see people, and I'm seeing them like, man, what happened? Like you was doing your thing before, you know, and yeah, man, it's just I just felt like it's a time for the music that I'm doing right now is to you know, it's able to be appreciated. It's going to resonate with people, and you know, people are listening more. That's the other thing that happened during quarantine. There was a lot of garbage music being perpetuated in the same sound. Like if you listen to now, I mean, even the female artists, they all different, man. Like they different.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, the the music that we have now. Because, like you say, I was born in '89, so I'm right on the cusp.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. '82 to like '95, it was different.
But if you listen to the music that was coming out from like the early '90s to like 2010, like you saw waves.
That's what I'm saying.
You saw waves happen. Like I remember, well, like 04, 05, 06. That's when Houston had their big push, and Texas rap got Houston was on the scene, and it was like, oh wow. But if you rewind just a little bit, Big Pimpin', UGK was right there with Jay-Z, and it was like
that's what started it.
And you're like, man, like how did this just like it seemed like it happened overnight, like suddenly, and then Houston pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and then honestly, I feel like Katrina happened, and then Lil Wayne in New Orleans kind of
had their run
to Miami and
Atlanta, and then Atlanta took over.
You just started like it was crazy to see in the time frame, because in the last 5 years, I don't really see a push the same way that we saw waves. I mean, in 10 years, someone will look back and they'll be like, "Oh, that was one of the waves." Or,
I don't know, man.
Wave.
I don't know.
That's what I think.
I think Lil Baby and DaBaby had the last like wave of like right before 2020. That was the last little like hump over, you know what I mean? Because they were actually talking and actually like, you know, I think that was the last part where it went over, and then things started. But there was a lot of trash music coming out, man. It was a lot of trash music, not from those artists, but like, and not throwing nobody under the bus, but it was like everything sounded the exact same. They were following the formula, like what works, let's get the bag. And I'm not against anybody getting their money, but like for the culture and like, you know, I got a daughter now, and like, you know, the things that are being perpetuated and being said, why we have all these, you know what I'm saying? It was different.
Yeah, I definitely feel like music when I was growing up, like, cause I was there, and like people talk about their GOATs, their top 5, their top 10, and like a lot of people, like I always leave Eminem in mind because just the way that he changed so many things when he came in, and it was just like, oh, he's making.
I was just listening to his song "Untouchable" when he was pulling up. It came on my playlist. I
said, there's words that don't rhyme, and he's making stuff rhyme that's not supposed to go together. And like, dude, I remember being like 5th grade with like the CD player and the headphones, and just like, man, like just like, what are you listening to? Like, oh, I can't tell nobody what this really is, right? I'm gonna get in trouble,
right?
But I mean, so, that for me was one of the biggest impressions. And then like I had family members like, oh, check out this artist. And then like I remember when like Little Flip and Little Flex were beefing out of Houston, and it was like, oh man, have you heard this mixtape? Have you heard this? And it was.
You remember when him and T.I. went at each other too? Yeah, man.
And like I was like,
it's good for the culture.
Come on, Flip, like stop, stop, bro. Like, this Scarface is the king of the South argument you're making is not working. Yeah, it's not. Just let it go. Yeah, and squash it. And throw T.I. on the Game Over remix. That's all he wanted initially. Right. He just wanted to be on the Game Over remix.
I remember. And they got in that fight in Dallas. People don't remember that. It was at a show in Dallas. I was there when the whole little scuffle happened, and they had his crew, and they broke it up. But that scuffle, the whole beef, started right here in DFW.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I don't know, like Little Flip's doing like radio shows, and he's still rapping and stuff. He's selling popcorn and sodas and. I ain't mad at you, bro. Get your money.
Get your paper, dog. I'm against anybody, any melanated person getting their paper, man.
All right, let's go into let's go with the ventures outside of music.
Yeah. So I got a couple of them, but we'll talk about the main one that I'm really pushing right now. It's the Dutch's Bar School. So Dutch's Hamburgers, which is a staple in Fort Worth. If anybody lives in Fort Worth, they know. Dutch's Hamburgers on University is literally on the TCU campus. I've partnered with them, and we're able to offer a bar school to teach people how to really bartend. Not that bullshit you see online, not to take the 30-day little quiz and get your TABC and you're a bartender. I mean, like, really be able to bartend and handle the pressures of everything, knowing how to pair beers with food, know how liquor is distilled, know what gives different things its taste, it's a little bit of wine in there, and literally teaches you how to maintain and work the bar so you can actually make a lot of money. And what I tell a lot of brothers is, and a lot of people, like, if you have any problems with the law, unless you got a bonehead probation or parole officer, bartending is one of those gigs where you can make a living and not just be tied to some shitty dollar amount, and you can actually work for yourself, and nobody goes in. Like when I do my bar shifts, nobody tells me how much money I'm gonna make. Like I know I have a ceiling, a minimum that I'm gonna make just if a certain amount of people walk in, but nobody tells me how much bread I make. It's up to me. And how long I stay, or how engaged I am with people and guests. Nobody tells me how much money I make. And if you're an artist or a creative, or like I said, you've been in a little trouble, or you just trying to like make extra bread, for whatever you're trying to do to build capital for yourself, this is the class to take, because it really teaches you how to do it. I've had 6 graduates already. 2 of them actually stayed at Dutch's and are working there currently. Some of them work at different establishments. I don't want to throw them under the bus and say where they're at, but some on 7th Street, some in Dallas, one at a golf course, and you get a written recommendation from me and the owners from Dutch's. I mean, it's really the only way to really learn how to do it. A lot of people don't hire unexperienced bartenders in and go in and train them. So you come in and you invest in yourself, you pay your money, and we teach you how to do it. The cool thing about this bar school that what I'm doing is your graduation day, you work alongside of your boy, yours truly. We have karaoke every Thursday at Dutch's on University. So you work alongside of me. We do this together. Whatever money we make, we split 50-50. You get to take your money as your graduation present. So the class is $4.99. I clear anywhere from $2 to $3.50. On that day, we split that down the middle. You've already made some money back for yourself out of the money that you've already invested in yourself. And I'm just showing people to do it that way. That way you can see that it's real and it really works. This isn't a money grab or anything like that.
No, because I have a couple of friends that started, they want to start, I want to be a bartender. Mm-hmm. So to get in the door anywhere, if you don't have no experience, like you're a bar back. Yeah. Like you walk in the door and you're basically washing glasses and you're stocking.
Sucks.
And you're doing the shit work.
Yep.
And
you want to wait 6 months on that?
You may get a cut of tips depending upon where you're at. Yep. And you sit there and you're like, well, usually they move people to bartender real fast. That's what they always tell you.
No, they want people to work that out. And it's a good, no shot at the owners or anybody. I mean, it's a system that's been working for a while. Yeah.
Well, some people are cool with being a bar back. Like, it's simpler. Yeah. There's no stress. There's no having to deal with customers. You're literally just stocking the bar. Yeah. And then you stand there. Okay, I'll grab some of this stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
At the same time, if you want more money, then
Hey man, I'm doing good, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
I know straight up bartenders that's their job. Like, I'm just a bartender. It's not a side hustle. It's not the extra. It's it's it. That's it. That's all they do.
Yep.
And well, my schedule, I don't want to work this. Dude, there's so many places that serve alcohol, and you can work 2 days a week.
You can get a job at Chili's.
Yeah, you can get Torchy's. They close at like 9 or 10
o'clock.
Yeah,
Dutchess closes at 10 and 11.
Yeah, so you I mean, oh well, I don't want to work till 2 a.m. Well, then don't work at a nightclub.
Right.
Like there's, like you said, restaurants.
Yeah.
You can work brunch at different restaurants on the weekends.
But you got to have that experience.
Oh yeah.
So what this is, it's literally, if you take the full course, it's going to take you 2 weeks, and I mean not like 2 full weeks. I mean like 10 shifts, which usually we break up inside of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, you get a written recommendation.
Yeah.
You get a reference from myself and the owners of Dutchess, and especially if you work anywhere in the funk, as soon as they see, oh, Dutchess?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's right there on the campus. They're always busy. Like, I've never been able to just walk in there and just be like, oh, no one's here. Like, when I've walked in there, it's like, all right, man, all right.
In the summer, sometimes there's like these little pockets where it's dead, but like most of the time, it's always jumping in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, any other outside of ventures, outside of music, you want to talk about? You got anything else going on?
Well, we got the book for the books. That's the other thing that I'm doing. What we do is every month we buy a series of books by a musical artist. Most of the time, like right now, I'm doing the Book of Jose by Fat Joe. Okay. What we do is you hit the DM or you hit the books for the book at gmail.com. You get the inmates' information, and we send them a book. Okay. The thing is, we don't want to send this to ballers. We don't want to send this to people that got a whole bunch of money on their books and people. Yeah. We want to do this for someone who just needs that escape inside of there and give them something that's going to be inspiring and just lift them up, get their mind out of there. Yeah. And the first one we have is Fat Joe's book, the Book of Jose. I got about 15 left. We started with 50. I got about 15 or 16. I have to check it. But yeah, we send them off to inmates so they have something to read. I really look for the indigent offenders. That way they're not somebody who's, that's already got stuff. We want to send it to that guy who's not getting much love, who doesn't have visits, who doesn't have money. Let them know that they're not alone out here and they can get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought about. I mean, there's so much we can do in the community.
Yeah.
There's a whole other communities that we don't even think about.
Yeah.
Because I never thought about anything like that.
Yeah.
Just off top, like, wow, like I didn't think that's where the project was going, or the. And then I mean.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like mental health, like there's so many different avenues of mental health that people don't realize. It's not just. I mean, especially being an artist, this shit is not like. If you're a real artist, it's not for the faint of heart. Like sometimes I'll even have to back up off the gram and not post as much just because I have to save that energy for my daughter or my girl or like different things like that. You have to be careful not to just dive all the way in and make it do some kind of facade, and then that's when things start happening. You trying to keep up a persona that's not real.
Yeah, no, like that's one thing. Like I'll be honest about it because no one ever listens this deep, and if you do, you can talk to me about it. But so when there's at times like, dude, I just post stuff because like it's funny to me, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just scrolling, and I'm like in a bad spot, and I'm just like, man, I really want to go do something. I want to be out and about, but current situation with a DWI and stuff pending and court case and stuff, it's like I'm just gonna stay my happy ass at the house.
Yep. And ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, G. Real talk.
That's why I go on these walks at night. Because if I wasn't out on a walk, just trying to clear my head, I would be at the bar. Yeah. I would be calling some girls that I probably should be talking to.
I already get it. I get it, man.
So it's those times that it's like, man, there's more to this, and a lot of people get caught up with, oh man, well, the persona, like trying to create this image of yourself, and like putting that image out there. So this is who I want people to see. So I want people to see, man, that person you want people to see. Nobody gives a fuck about that person.
Yep.
If you're not mentally stable, at the end of the day, you're gonna lose your shit almost instantly at some point. And that person you're portraying when you're out and about, you're gonna be a completely different person.
See it happen all the time. Like
I've done it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I really strive on like being me, no matter what setting I'm in. Whether I'm at a show with, like I said, with Zero, I've opened up for Zero. I've opened up for Bun B. I've opened up for Lil Kiki. I've done my own showcases in every single place, from the bar school to wherever I'm at. It's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's really tough for a lot of people to do. But I mean, you got to find what drives you, and you got to make it not just about yourself. And when you do it that way, and you spread love, and you make yourself available, man, everything takes care of itself how it's supposed to.
Yeah. Man, that's a big one though. All right, man. I'm not going to keep you and keep rolling and keep asking questions. I mean, if you got anything else you want to touch on, but I mean, I feel like the mainstays, the different stuff. All right, well, there's one thing I want to ask you. The Dapper Dan, the name from the dude that started the shop in Harlem?
Yeah,
right?
First black man to ever have a deal with a designer label, Gucci, who was getting fabrics. And
I looked him up because it's not the first time I heard the name. And I was like, I didn't know he had a Gap sweater.
Yeah.
And they
I got one. I've worn it once.
And they instantly sell out.
Gone.
Like, I was like, wait,
I paid
how did this happen? And they were like retail $128.
Yep.
What did you pay?
I paid $220, but I had a plug from New York. They hooked me up with it.
Yeah, but still, that's $100 over retail.
Yeah.
But the concept that he said, because he was talking about an interview, he's like, I think they dropped this morning, and they were sold out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you got to understand, like, he was like, all the rappers wanted to be like the drug dealers, okay? Because the rappers were considered corny back in the day. Like, you listen to some of these guys who was really like the real OGs who was really out here. There's a bunch of I mean, you can see, like, the drug dealers were the ones who were all big on fashion, and they would go to him to get the fit to be able to, you know, step out fly in front of the girls in the middle of Harlem. So I mean, it was one of those things where I named it the Dapper Dan because, like I said, 80s baby music, I was sticking with a theme and a feeling. When you have that on, it's not like something that you're going to listen to when you turn on the radio right now.
Right.
It's something that you'll be like, man, this is a real nostalgic feel. It's something that's you know, that kind of brings you back. Even though the things I'm talking about, if you listen, is super current, and even the things I'm saying in the vocab and the vernacular that I'm using is current, but it's just got that feel from that time.
But because that feel from that time, the concept of it, and it is.
Man, wasn't no camera phones, man.
Yeah, no.
Dude,
I remember them VHS cam.
Yeah,
bro. I'm gonna tell you a story about a Bun B show. So I went to a Bun B show one time at the Rail Club here in Fort Worth, and they were recording this show. We had iPhones. This girl showed up to this with this big old camera on her shoulder that you look like you still put VHS tapes in. And I don't know if they were going for some kind of like.
It's a look. I know somebody that shoots in an old VHS like type thing because when you download it into your computer, it looks pixelated. It's a look.
Yeah, and I was just like, but she was also wearing sweatpants, house shoes, and a wife beater.
No, she wasn't doing that on purpose. That's what she had.
Like, what are we doing here? But, like, that's one thing that I like. I have respect for some of those pop-up shows that they do. Yeah. Because I do like the way that it's done. Just not always the timing of it. Because, like, that Bun B show, they're like, he's going to go on at 9. And then, he's going to go on at 10:30. Oh, no, he's going on at midnight. And you show up, he pops in there for 25, 27 minutes. Yeah. Chunks the deuce. He's out the door.
He's out.
And I'm like, bro, I listened to, like, 7 artists that were from... Dude, there was dudes from, like, the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. And I was like, I'm never going to hear this dude again.
Well, this is the thing. Like, you have to be careful of the money grab shows because there's our promoters that, you know, they're helping to build the capital so they can book these big guys to be able to come out because that's what they really want to see. But, like, the thing with my thing is, like, with my showcase, most of them are unknown. The next step is to bring one of those big artists. But every single artist on my showcase, every single comedian there is dope and funny as shit. Like, you know, Junior, he's got his own band. Like, Common is crazy. If you look up his music, his show performance is crazy. Play, Appleberry, gosh, I could keep going. Like, all the artists that I rock with, they are actually dope.
So and where's the plan for the next one? Are you gonna do it back in Northwestern Hills?
Oh no, yeah, we gonna see. We gonna talk. We gonna, you know, I don't want to give it away because they be biting. You know, these copycats out here. There's a lot of copycats. All right.
So I've been to Live Wix Live out there. I've been out there once for a showcase, and I don't know what promoter put that on, but one of my buddies performed, so I went out there. Cool spot. Yeah. The outside aesthetic does not match the inside aesthetic.
Not at all.
But I would definitely go back.
Yeah,
because it's like a hidden gem because you don't like. I was like, man, it looks like you finna walk into one of those like weird like pop up churches.
It's a comedy spot, really.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it does look like one of those. It's a comedy spot. So it's like when I film it, because I also have them in the next step after we do this third one is to start going. I got an avenue where we're going to start pitching to Netflix and Amazon, so that way these artists can start getting some real pull and not just from YouTube, because it's like it's hard. It's just like streaming. There's so many. You have to be able to steer your traffic to that one specific spot, but the idea of that is a comedy show in a closed set. Like I sell tickets on Eventbrite. It's kind of invite only. We don't want just everybody walking in because we want it on camera to be crisp and have that comedy show feel. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's one of those things where if you get too big of a venue, you lose it.
Yeah.
If it's too small, you lose it. It's got to be.
That's one of my things with Haltom Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Haltom Theater is a huge venue.
Yeah.
And like they started the sideshow. The sideshow stage, the small stage where they used to have the TV and everything set up.
Yep.
And it's a small stage, and you can pack that room easily.
Yeah, yeah.
But the big room, packing that.
I'm only doing that with legends. I've performed twice there with 2 legends, Bun and Zero. So
I went in there one time, and it was a metal show. And predominantly, Haltom Theater has a lot of like metal festivals and stuff. But at a metal show, it was like there's not enough people here. Then I went to a DJ Paul show when he performed there. And they had the table set up in the front, and it was just like, and then DJ Paul was like, man, move these tables, get these tables out of the way, because it was just like a weird setup, the way that they had it. And I mean, it was a great show. It's a great venue. I think the sound needs to be re-engineered there, but I mean,
I would love to sit down with them for a small bag and fix your shit. But I mean, I would from the bar. Y'all missing money. Y'all got this system, but y'all missing money. But that's another story.
They're working on it, I guess. Hopefully,
I hope so.
But and if you're in the very back of that auditorium, and there's someone performing way over there.
It sounds like shit.
You can't understand nothing. All you feel is bass on your feet, and you can't hear no lyrics, no nothing. Hopefully, you remember the lyrics of the song and sing it to yourself.
Yep.
But
no, you're right.
We touched on a little bit of everything. Single superhero music.
Yeah, download that. Stream that.
All streaming platforms.
Yep.
What else? The showcases. Are we talking about current projects? The bar school. Would you say on the bar school? It's a 2-week thing.
It's a 2-week thing. It's about I say about 10 shifts.
10 shifts.
And there's three different programs. Like one, you can just literally take the literature part, learn how liquors distill, learn about bar, about the bar. That one's a lot cheaper. Then there's step 2 where you get that, plus you actually learn how to make drinks. Right. And then the full course is you are learning the computer, you are learning the food, and you are literally bartending with a coach. For 5 shifts. Yeah. In your 6th shift, you get to be free and actually make some money. All right. So you really learn how to do it for real. Yeah, not just like I said, these internet, teach me how to be a bartender. Click this, that. There's no way, I don't care what anybody tells you, not in a closed setting, not in an empty bar. If you're not dealing with real customers and making mistakes and going through the things and having 4 people ask for you one thing at one time, like I need a beer, I need to tab out, can you fill this up? And can you pass me a menu? Like all those things happen at one time. Yeah. It's a swag you got to kind of have.
I mean, it's customer service for one, and like some people got it, some people don't with customer service.
Well, I can teach different things that you can, even if you're not. But the only thing you have to have is the desire to do it. Even if like I've had people that are super introverted and don't really talk and are very quiet and shy. After they take this course, they've turned into a ladies' man. Like literally, like, man, I can talk to anybody now. I can do, it's just some things that I have learned, through the years from great bartenders and watching and running restaurants and doing venues and doing my own showcases that give me an edge. It's knowledge that's proprietary that, everything must go, everything for sale, including that knowledge.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Real talk.
I'm looking forward to this next showcase because I missed that last one.
It's all good. But I got more coming, man. We got more shit coming down the pipeline. Real talk.
All right, man. Y'all stay fed, and this will be up as soon as possible.